It is KCIM Sports Rewind for you here on this Tuesday. KC Miners joined with Jeff Blankman. Mason Neal going to join us coming up in just a little bit here on this Tuesday morning. Another full edition of KCIM Sports Rewind. And Jeff, we've got a lot to go over. We got an interview to play coming up here for the folks this morning. And we want to start off with boys swimming. It was a fantastic weekend last weekend for the boys out at the state tournament.
It was, and I'm glad you brought me back to what day of the week it was, because literally when you said on this Tuesday morning, I was thinking it was Saturday. And I was like, why am I here on a Saturday? But it is just a Tuesday morning. But yeah, what a run for the Carroll boys swim team this past Saturday at the state swim meet over in Iowa City. Of course, I caught up Sunday with Tegan Renzi. You can find that interview on our website. Also, we're going to play that here coming up shortly, as he won the state championship in the 200 freestyle swimming, a 1:37.20. That broke the school record. He had broke it the day before in the prelims and then rebroke it in the finals. Legan Cease finished fourth in the 200 IM and 1:53.34, but that broke the school record. Renzi then took third in the 100 freestyle with a 44.39. That broke the school record. Legan Cease was fifth in the 100 breaststroke with a 56.51. That broke the school record. And then you had the 200 freestyle relay, taking 12th with Legan Cease, Weston Toft, Landon Cadwell, and Tegan Renzi in a time of 1:27.34. That broke the school record. And then they broke the school record as well, finishing 10th in the 400 freestyle with those same four guys in 3:14.34. So 6 events, all breaking the school record. Landon Cadwell swam Friday in the 200 IM prelims, finished 23rd, didn't qualify for the finals on Saturday, but again was a part of those 2 relays. So I know Tegan is the first ever boys state champion for Carroll swimming. So congratulations goes out to him. And I know Deb told me last week that this might be the best team that she's ever had. And when you look at the results down at the state swim meet, this might be the best team in Carroll boys swim history.
Yeah, they had a really good season this year. We'll play that interview coming up for you here on KCIM Sports Rewind.
Jeff Blankman joined here today by state champion Tegan Renzi from the Carroll boys swim team as he wins the 200 freestyle at the state swim meet over in Iowa City this past weekend on Saturday. Tegan, I tell you what, congratulations, man. Does that have a nice ring to it, state champion Tegan Renzi?
Thank you. Yeah, it definitely does. I don't think I'm still fully processed that I've won state.
And you went over there hoping to do that. You were a favorite. You're one of the guys that everybody thought would have a shot. So how long do you think it's going to take before it actually settles in for you?
Oh, I don't know. Probably the rest of the week. But, man, after getting second last year in that race, I was like, I got to come back and win this thing next year. That was just the goal all season, just to get that state title and win.
And I talked to you before you went down. I could tell how bad you wanted it, but I could also tell you didn't put any pressure on yourself the way it appeared anyway. You seemed pretty relaxed.
Yeah. Like a while ago, I would always struggle with putting too much pressure on myself. So just not putting any pressure on myself and just trusting what I've done leading up to the state meet has been so big, so huge for me to be able to do things like win the state meet.
So now most of the time in an interview like this, I would start with Saturday's race because that's the one where you truly clinch the championship. But I actually want to get to that one second because what happened on Friday in the prelims almost steals the show a little bit because something almost happened that almost cost you an opportunity to get to swim on Saturday and go out and win that state championship. I'll let you kind of tell the story as it happened to you and around you.
Okay, so prelims, first race of the state meet. Everyone's ready to go, super excited. I was ready to go. Get up on the blocks for prelims, and get ready. Take your they say take your marks, and then hear a loud bang. Someone dropped their metal water bottle after they said take your mark, and I flinched really hard, and apparently some other guys did too. And then I slammed the race, and then you get disqualified for a false start if you flinch on the start or you go early. So I was swimming the whole race thinking, man, I probably just got disqualified. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, there's probably an off chance that everyone heard that water bottle and So I just went out there and I slammed my race, and I was not going to slow down for that. And I ended up going in top seed.
And you said that within about a second to maybe a second and a half, the horn went off to allow you guys to start. How did you right yourself that quickly that you went, oh, I flinched, I could be done, to I got to swim my best race?
I was like, initially I was like, oh man, that was not fun. But as soon as I got in the water, I was just thinking, well, we're in this race, might as well go swimming.
Right.
So I just put my head down and just started swimming.
So you broke the school record Friday in the prelims. You come back on it Saturday. You do it all over again. You swim a 1:37 at 20. You're an automatic All-American, which you were anyway, but that makes it even more special. So take me through Saturday's race. How did it play out for you in the pool?
Oh, man. Finals, pressure was on, but I tried not to put any pressure on myself. I was super excited for this. I was planning just to go out hard and then hang on that last 75. I wasn't going to let anybody beat me on that first 100. And that's what happened. I went out faster than everyone else. But Will Van Zee, lane 3, right next to me, he was starting to catch me on the last 25, and I just ended up putting my head down last 12 and a half and got the win on that one.
How close was it on the finish? How close did he get to you?
I think it was 0.3 seconds.
And
so it was pretty close.
Yeah, that's pretty darn close. What was the difference for you, you think, that last 12 and a half to 20 meters that gave you the win?
I just put my head down. I didn't breathe. Kind of made it more like a 50 stroke on that last half, and just put everything I had in there. Used my legs, used all the energy left.
Did you know the moment you touched that you had won?
Yeah, I was when I was reaching, I was looking over a little bit. I felt myself touching him. I saw him touch afterwards, so I knew I had won that. And I looked up at the board, and I was like, "Finally, I did it."
What was the initial reaction like?
It was big sigh of relief. That was the initial reaction. Big breath in, big sigh of relief. Gave a little fist bump to the crowd. I was pretty happy after that one.
Do you get a chance to really celebrate that at all? Because you had another individual event and then 2 more relays later in the day. So how do you get past the, hey, I just won a state championship, but yet you got to be focused to go out and still swim well the rest of the day as well?
Yeah, after the race, everyone congratulates you. Talk to Deb, talk to Carly, and then just go cool down. Because if you don't cool down, you're going to have so much lactic acid, and then you're just going to not feel great for your next race. So I made sure I got my cool down in, and then that kind of just reset my head, focused on the 100 free after that, and then the rest of the meet after that one.
So you finished 3rd in the 100 free, but you break the school record as well. You guys also broke the school record in the 200 freestyle relay and the 400 freestyle relay, and Legan broke school records down there in his 2 individual events as well. So what was going on with you guys that you were so just on, the whole group, not just you win the state title, but everybody seemed to be on all day on Saturday?
I don't know. I mean, all of us are super close. We were all super excited going to this meet. Everyone was super happy with their times, and I just think everyone had such a great mindset going in, and we just continued it throughout the whole state meet, and it worked. Everyone was swimming the best they ever have. Deb said it's probably the best state meet she's ever had, and man, it was probably the most fun one I've ever been to.
What was it that got you guys that focused, and what was the celebration like after every time you guys broke a state record?
I think everyone just knew we had done the work, all the practices leading up to this point. Everyone was confident in their abilities to swim. Everyone's just jumping after all our swims, giving each other high fives, going up, congratulating whoever just swam. We were all just super happy for each other.
Perfect way to end the career. What did you guys do to celebrate the great day, for yourselves and for Deb, like you said, she's been coaching probably close to 20 years now as the head coach there at Carroll, and this was the best state run you guys ever had.
Well, I'd say for Deb is how we swam. We really put our heads down and we did really well. Swam really well for ourselves and for the team, and that's pretty much how we celebrated for Deb. I mean, hugs afterwards, thank yous for everything. As a team, we went out to eat at Five Guys. We did that last year. Kept the tradition alive, and we did that again this year. But today we were all pretty tired. Just kind of went to bed after that.
Do you want to tell us what you had at Five Guys?
I had 2 double cheeseburgers with bacon.
Okay.
And a large bag of fries, and I had probably 3 Powerades.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, you're making me hungry right now. The one thing I haven't talked to you about yet is you're the first ever, as far as we're aware, a first ever state champion in Carroll boys swimming history. What's that mean to you?
I did not know that until today, and it means a lot. To be the first one for that is something special, and I'm very, very grateful for the opportunities that I've had to be able to accomplish that.
So you're headed off to Ohio State. What do you do between now and the fall?
Just keep swimming, lifting, keep staying athletic. I'll swim all throughout the whole summer, and there's no break after this state meet. I'm starting practice up again tomorrow.
Well, I tell you what, man, congratulations. It has been an absolute honor getting to cover you and watching you swim here these last few years, with Carroll. Wish you the best of luck at Ohio State. I know I'm going to be peeking at their website to see how things are going. So congratulations on everything. It's well-deserved. You put in the work to deserve everything you've gotten. So appreciate you joining us here today very much.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
You bet. Tegan Renzi again with the Carroll boys swim team. Again, he is the state champion in the 200 freestyle.
We welcome you back to KCIM Sports Rewind for you here on this Tuesday. KC Miners joined with Jeff Blankman and Mason Nealon here in the KCIM studios. We talk about high school sports and everything going on in between all that fun stuff throughout the Jazz. We talk with Tegan, and we mentioned, Jeff, first ever boy to win a state championship in Carroll boys swimming, and I think he's pretty proud of that.
Yeah, as he should be. And what a job, as we mentioned earlier, for that group the entire season. I do want to mention, because I think when I ran through the results earlier, they finished 11th as a team with 4 guys going down there. That tells you how well they placed and everything.
And for the people that don't know about swimming, there's only one class for swimming.
Right.
So they're having to swim against the big schools, out there. So a really impressive showing for them down there last weekend.
Yeah, and Mason, I know you got a chance to cover a couple of swim meets this year. So kind of exciting to see the swim team do what they did.
Yeah, and I mean, you just watch them, and at almost every swim meet, they were just kind of dominant, and so you knew. And we type up the results every night, and you see a lot of firsts, a lot of seconds, a lot of thirds, so you just knew kind of this was the direction they were heading.
I think it's been a really good season for the boys swimming team. And speaking of swimming, it's kind of an Olympic sport, so we'll talk about Olympics for your trivia question today.
Oh, boy. Mason, you're going to have to answer. I don't follow the Olympics at all.
So, as you know, the Winter Olympics are going on right now. So currently, they're in Italy. As of right now, the USA has 19 total medals, which is good for third. I think Norway and Italy ahead of them right now in the medal count. Do you know when the last time that the United States technically won the Olympics by medal count standards?
Are you talking winter only?
Yep, winter only.
Okay.
Because we dominate the summer ones.
The summer
most
ones
of the time.
We usually dominate, yeah. And I
winter
actually
only.
have some time in the summer to watch some of the events. Winter, I just don't have time. So you're saying the last time that the Americans won the winter?
Yeah, won the medal count for the Winter Olympics.
Back in the 80s?
Oh, no, it's been before then.
It was before then?
Yep.
Okay.
Was it when Shaun White used to snowboard?
Probably.
Mid-2010 something?
It was 2010 is when it was. And they won 37 medals that year. That's the most they've ever won in the Olympics. I think they won that much in 1932 and then in 2010, but they have not won the Winter Olympics medal count-wise since 2010. I think in 2022, when the last time the Winter Olympics were, they had 20-something, and they were like 5th.
Okay.
So we're not as dominant in the winter ones as they are in those summer ones. But
we don't like the cold.
I don't for sure. And we live in Iowa.
No, I had a buddy of mine that's been watching a ton of the Winter Olympics and said to me the other day, he goes, "How much have you watched?" And I said, "None." And he goes, "Why?" And well, most of it is because I just don't have time at this time of the year to really ever turn the TV on for very much. But I told him, I says, I don't want to be reminded that it's cold outside, so I don't want to watch something on TV that says it's cold. So, yeah, no, I don't watch the Winter Olympics.
We will step away, take a break real quick. We'll talk about postseason boys and girls basketball. We come back here on KCIM Sports Rewind.
As the athletes at your house prepare for hard work and fun of the season, remember that St. Anthony Rehab Services provides physical therapy for any sports injury that may sideline your member of the team. Sports injuries can plague kids of all ages and keep them from playing the sport they love. Athletes will be under the direct supervision of a certified and licensed healthcare professional in the newly renovated sports performance facility. If an injury is keeping your athlete out of the game, call St. Anthony Rehabilitation Services at 794-5000 for sports injury and treatment rehab.
We are back with KCIM Sports Rewind for you here on this Tuesday, talking postseason boys and girls basketball. Casey Miners, Mason Nealon, Jeff Blankman here in the KCIM studios with you guys. And for KCIM Sports Rewind here on this Tuesday, postseason basketball. I think I call this, like, even though girls basketball started last week, I call this like the first official week of postseason basketball because you got boys and girls going on, and state wrestling coming up on Thursday for the boys. So it's been a busy last couple of weeks with everything like that, and we've seen some really good outcomes, I think, so far, especially through the girls portion of the state. I would say state, but postseason basketball play. Yeah,
I think our girls teams have had some good success so far. The tough thing is if I remember last Thursday when it started, I know I did Glidden, Peyton, Sheridan. I also had IK Manning or Weeva. So we were losing two teams of our local area no matter what those two nights. That's the only tough thing, and I think we've kind of talked about that some off air when the pairings come out every year. It makes it easy to do games that have two local teams playing each other, but it also makes it tough because you know you're going to have two of the teams you cover, or depending on how many matchups are like that. And then it always seems like, so now we've got Glidden against IK Manning tonight, so it just seems like a lot of our area teams, and it's what happens. They're in the same area. A lot of our schools are the same class size now. You start to lose teams faster than you want to because they're all playing each other all the time. Yeah,
for sure. And we'll get some more girls in action tonight. Kuhn and Exira will open up their postseason runs for girls basketball. We got IK Manning taking on Glidden, which should be a really good ball game tonight.
Really
I think
good game.
For the folks that they want to tune into it.
Yep. IK Manning with their size with Keegan Ashide and Addie Bando inside, and then Anna Stangl outside, and Carly Arp goes off for, I think, 20 the other night, and a career high for her, and knocking down a bunch of threes. And then you look at the veterans, Olivia Squibb and Allison Snyder, and of course Cassidy Wink over at Glidden, but then you throw in those freshmen, and Chloe Peters and Jenna Subert and Bryn Renzi and stuff, and they're really, really good. So I think it's going to be a matchup of, do the guards really that dominate for Glidden Ralston control it, or can IK Manning use their size and their physicality inside to be able to gain control of that game? So I think it should be one heck of a good game.
And Mason, talking about that game, I think that if Glidden can handle IK Manning's press, that'll bode really well for him.
Yeah, because that and also the size. I feel if they can rebound, box out, get some rebounds, they'll be doing a nice job. But it'll be a fun one to see because, two coaches that have had some success in their years, Coach Yelly over at, Underwood, had a couple of state tournament appearances, and obviously a lot of people know if you listen in this area, what Gene has done down at IK Manning. So it should be a really fun game.
Yeah, we had boys basketball postseason. They opened up yesterday on Monday. I had ESAC at South Central Calhoun, which was a really good game. Both teams split earlier this year, and I knew going into it was going to be a slugfest. It was going to be slow-paced defenses. It's going to be a 2-3 zone defense. We're going to work the shot clocks, and that is exactly what I got last night in that game.
What was the difference for South Central?
Evan Myers knocked down some big threes. I think that when it was tied going into the second quarter, and Cade Higgins made 5 free throws from the free throw line, who did a nice job of getting offensive rebounds and then getting fouled. So I think that was the difference in the first half. But then the second half, Evan Myers was able to knock down some threes when Isak was going to make a run. But on the flip side, Isak in the fourth quarter had probably 5 wide open 3-pointers that they missed.
Right.
So that I think after the game, Todd said, if we knock down those shots, we win this game.
Right.
And I agree. I thought that Isak was, you look at the way they played, wanted it more a little bit in a way.
Right.
I knew that they thought if they could control the pace and control the way they wanted to play, that they'd have a good shot.
Yeah, and there's some good young talent on that ESAC team, so I think the future for them, I know this was probably the toughest year that Todd's maybe ever had as far as record-wise, and stuff in his long career between Wall Lakeview, Auburn, and now ESAC County. So, but I think they'll bounce back next year with some of the young guys that got some valuable experience for them. I had ICAM Manning, Peyton Sheridan, kind of had a feeling that could end up being a barn burner. It was through a half. Ben Ramsey and Brock Kuzel got ICAM Manning off to a really good start. Peyton Sheridan come charging back in the second quarter, and it was a tight game at halftime. But a 9-0 run followed by a 9-3 run, so an 18-3 run to start the third quarter for ICAM Manning. The difference, Brock Kuzel and Ben Ramsey were just absolutely fantastic all night for those guys. Trayvon Keeley finished with 22 and kind of worked Peyton Sheridan back into the game. But, when I talked with Kyle Wright, who was coaching them last night, he kind of said it, sometimes, especially in the second half, they got a little stagnant with their ball movement, and they don't shoot well. So he said you become pretty easy to defend when there's a lot of dribbling and pounding of the ball, and that's kind of maybe what happened to them. But ICAM Manning moves on. They get an Audubon team that they know well, both out of the WIC, both moving to the Rolling Valley next year, and they split. It's weird because Audubon won at ICAM Manning, and then ICAM Manning won at Audubon. So now ICAM Manning goes to Audubon Thursday, and I think you get a call that one.
I've been looking forward to that game. It's going to be a really good one. Two teams that know each other very well, as you mentioned, so that should be a really good one. Mason, you had Kuhn last night, and expected Kuhn to pull out a big victory last night, and they did.
Yeah, and Logan comes in at 3-20, but I mean, they played the Underwoods and the Trainers and the Tri-Centers of the world, so they kind of know what it's like to face good competition. They came out, and it was, I think, 3-2 at one point when they led, and then Kuhn after that went on a couple of runs to get themselves up by 25, 30 points. Loma kind of stormed back in the third quarter, though, got it down to about 18, but, I mean, that was when Ty Hayden was in the locker room. He comes back out, gets on the floor, and Kuhn kind of closes out in dominant fashion. But a fun game for them. I think they shot the ball well, and I think a lot of that starts with Caden Oswald on the defensive end. I mean, he was diving at the floor. He was getting steals. He probably had 4 or 5 in the first half, ended up with 7, I think, 10 tonight.
And you have a pretty neat video. I don't know if you've got it posted yet. I know you were going to do that this morning sometime, but kind of a cool play involving Caden Oswald and Cal Hayden last night.
Yeah, Caden getting the steal, runs down the floor, and I had to ask him after the game because he goes up with his right hand on the left side, and ball goes flying off the backboard, and I thought for a second, I'm like, oh, maybe he missed it, but then I see 33 streaking down the center court, and I'm like, all right, and Cal goes up with the Loma defender right there and puts it down with 2 hands, and it was just one of those plays that, you expect to see out of Cal Hayden sometime throughout the game.
Right. Yeah.
And it's one of those plays you don't see very often. I remember fondly Carter Putney, not the tallest guy for Kemper, but he could jump. It was their senior night. They were taking on Shenandoah a couple years ago, and the first play of the game was a lob to Carter Putney. I can't remember who lobbed it to him, but I'm like, what a way to start a game.
Yeah, and he sprung up. I think it was probably Carson Canny that probably ended up with that assist, but what an effort, and what a jumper. And Cal, that's the second time that we're aware of this year that they did the whole off the backboard.
The alley-oop off the backboard.
Yep, Ty did it to Cal down at Exira Court in Kimballton earlier this year. So, they're going to be fun, and their run continues in the postseason.
The funny thing is they tried that lob a little bit earlier in the game, and Caden threw it about a smidge too late, but it was one just through the air, and Cal went up and laid it in. So I was like, I'm assuming it's coming again sometime, because they missed the timing by like a couple of seconds.
Hey, do you think that would have got away in the Corey Meyer era?
Yeah, I think so, as long as you make it. And I think that's a lot of coaches. If you do something like that and it doesn't work,
not saying that Corey wouldn't have allowed it, but you just didn't see him doing that.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, and I think part of it is they're all a year older now and a lot more comfortable, and stuff, and trying those kind of things. But I always joke back in my day we weren't allowed to dunk in games because even if you made the dunk, you sat next to coach.
I wasn't able to dunk. I never played basketball, so I should be good there.
But season's coming to an end for Arweva, Glidden. Who am I missing last night, Mason?
Isak
and Peyton Sheridan both lost, but the two that we didn't cover, I guess, were Arweva and Glidden, and they both ended up falling. Glidden fell to Ankeny Christian, and Arweva fell last night to AHST of Oka Walnut. A really tough fourth quarter, scored I think just 4, maybe 5 points in that fourth quarter last night, and ended up losing that game. So I know I'll talk with Matt Wilkin at some point later today for our weekly interview, and we'll recap the season with him. And I think Derek is tomorrow for Mason, so we'll get those interviews in. So
we'll flip our script to Boys State Wrestling coming up on Thursday. And Jeff, what a really good state qualifying meet it was over the weekend for all of our area teams. 22 boys wrestlers that made it down. Is that a high?
That's the best that we've had in my 22 years here of covering for this area. Carroll sending 5, South Central Calhoun sending 5, Audubon and Cooner both sending 4, and then Kemper and Isak both sending 2. I'll run you through kind of their first round matchups, and again, all of our coverage, it'll be Bill Kane and I on the broadcast down there for State Boys Wrestling this year. It'll be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We'll start 9 o'clock in the morning for Thursday and Friday. We're going to have really long stretches and stuff, but it'll all be on the YouTube channel, again, audio only and stuff, but we'll have, I'm going to say all of the matches. I'm just going to warn folks that we have like 2 kids at 113 pounds and 3 kids at 285 and stuff in the same classes. So we're going to have the possibility sometimes of 2 or 3 kids out of the area on the mats at the same time. We'll do our best to kind of rotate the coverage through those matches and keep everybody as up to date as we can on how all 3 kids are going to do. And Bill does such a great job, and I'll pitch in wherever he needs me to fill in. But again, just go to YouTube and go to our YouTube channel, search CB Sports Network to be able to pull it up and be able to follow it coming up on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And the schedule for all 3 days is on our website at sports.1380kcim.com. Go to the features drop-down menu. I think it's the second one down that says sports schedule. You can click on either Thursday or Friday or Saturday and stuff. Thursday, I do have the first round matchups for everybody typed up. I'll run through those here real quick. Class 1A goes from 9 in the morning till 1:30 in the afternoon. Carson Webker, of course, of South Central Calhoun at 106 pounds. He's the number 2 seed. He got a bye in the first round. At 113 pounds, Case Kraft of South Central Calhoun will wrestle against Zach Willems of Sumner Fredericksburg. At 113 pounds, Leighton Elmquist of Audubon also got a bye in the first round as a top 8 seed. At 120 pounds, Curtis Bullock of South Central Calhoun will wrestle Braden Thompson of Central Decatur. At 126 pounds, Caleb Hoffman of Coon Rapids Bayard, also a top 8 seed, received a bye in the opening round. At 132 pounds, Johnny Cortez of Coon Rapids Bayard will wrestle Bowen Thompson of Columbus. At 138 pounds, John Rasmussen of Audubon will wrestle Max Pollock of Wayne. At 150 pounds, Carter Obermeyer of Audubon will wrestle Mason Hauser of Riverside. At 157 pounds, Ethan Bauer of Coon Rapids Bayard will wrestle Tommy Tanner of Hinton. At 165 pounds, Dawson Allen of Esac will wrestle Ryder Meeks of Lisbon. Also at 165 pounds, Trainer Coates of Coon Rapids Bayard received a bye as a top 8 seed. At 175 pounds, Cooper Natras of South Central Calhoun will wrestle Max Reed of North of Mahaska. At 285 pounds, Elaine Meyer of Audubon will wrestle Jack Sheeter of ACGC. Also at 285 pounds, Cal McCullough of Esac will wrestle Reese Stokes of Hinton. And also at 285 pounds, Jace Peterson of South Central Calhoun gets a bye in the opening round. So that first day will be first round, then second round consolations. Then we'll move into the 2A portion of the day, which is the exact same rounds. And that'll go from 2:30 in the afternoon till 10 o'clock at night.
When I saw that, I was like, that is a really long session.
Yes. Bill and I will be tired at the end of the day. Let's just say it that way, because they're going to mix up some things on Thursday night. So you're going to throw in 3A stuff and everything else in there, because the 3A first day is actually on Wednesday. So the 3A stuff will follow the 2A stuff. And hopefully they don't mix them. If they do, it's going to be a really long day. If they can get through 2A stuff, hopefully Bill and I are done maybe by about 6:30, 7 o'clock and can get out of there. But so here's our opening round matchups for Carroll and Kemper. And again, all of this on the CB Sports Network YouTube channel. At 113 Beckett Ornament of Kemper will wrestle Josh Gray of Sergeant Bluff Luton. At 120 pounds, Carson Tedrow of Carroll will wrestle Jaron Jacobs of Greene County. At 132 pounds, McGuire Hoyt of Kemper will wrestle Cam Roberts of Al Burnett. At 175 pounds, Caden Clucky of Carroll will wrestle Taryn Lawrenson of Woodward Granger. At 195 pounds, Kieran Polking of Carroll will wrestle Chance Gorgeous of Roland Story. At 215 pounds, Quentin Polking of Carroll received a bye as a top 5 seed. I think he's at number 4. And at 285 pounds, Gavin Holt of Carroll will wrestle Jackson Warnke of Charles City. So again, that is the wrestling for Thursday, just so everybody knows. Friday, Class 1A and 2A quarterfinals and consolations will go from 9 until 3. And then the Class 1A and 2A semifinals and consolations will go from 5 until 9. And then on Saturday, we have the 1A and 2A consolations, consolation semis, and the consolation finals, which is your 3rd place, 5th place, and 7th place matches. Those will go from 9 in the morning till 2:15 in the afternoon. And the 1A, 2A, and also 3A championships will start Saturday night at 5:15. Grand March, I think, is at 5:30, so it'll be after 6 o'clock before anybody gets on the mats. But again, that schedule is available online at sports.1380kcim.com. I'll have a web page where I'll be trying to update, the results as quickly as I can for all of our area wrestlers and try to let you know who they're going to be wrestling in the next round and what round they're in, so you can follow the web page for those. I'll do my best with me helping to help out with the broadcast and stuff that it might be a little slower than normal on getting that stuff updated, but I will get that stuff updated as quick as possible. So,
Mason, one real quick thing before we wrap up KCIM Sports Rewind. 6 wrestlers received a bye, which means that it might not happen, but 6 wrestlers receiving a bye, which means that the state thinks we could have 6 wrestlers that could podium coming down there over the weekend.
Yeah.
So it should be really good coming up for them over the weekend there down at KC Center.
Yeah, and 2 kids within the top 4, so possible maybe runs to the finals. We saw Macy do that a couple of weeks ago for girls. Maybe we got a boy or 2 that can make a run to the finals.
I'm hoping we get 4 into Saturday night. That'd be fun.
That'd be fun to watch. That wraps up KCIM Sports Rewind for this Tuesday. Check out a podcast of it coming up in just moments.
Western Iowa's news and classic hit station is 1380 AM 95.